Good evening, everyone, and praise the Lord. Today is Friday, March the 21st, 2025. My name is Sharon Hawkins. Welcome to Money Minded here on Soul Sisters 10X platform. Glad to be with you here again on another Friday night. God has truly been good to us, and I hope everyone is doing well. All right, tonight we're going to get right into it. And our scripture is going to come from, for tonight, Luke chapter 6, and I'll be reading verses 46 to 49. Luke chapter 6, verse 46 to 49. And it reads as thus: And why call ye Lord, Lord, and do not the things which I say? Whatsoever cometh to me and heareth my sayings and does them, I will show you to whom he is like. He is like a man which build a house and diggeth deep and laid the foundation on a rock. When the flood arose, the stream beat vehemently upon the house and could not shake it, for the founder upon a rock. But he that heareth and doth not is like a man without a foundation, build a house upon the earth, against which the stream did beat firmly, and immediately it fell and ruined the house was great. All right. Praise the Lord, Sister Rita. I just read Luke, the 6th chapter, verses 46 to 49. Luke chapter 6, verse 46 to 49. Here Jesus is talking to us, and he's speaking to us about how we can build our foundation, and we got to build it on a solid rock. We don't want to build it on something that's shaking. He gave a parable of a man who built it a solid foundation on a rock. So when the wind and the water, it said the flood, the stream beat up against it, it was not able to move the house because the house was built on a solid foundation, right? So it couldn't be ruined. So if we build on anything else and it's not solid, it can falter, it can fail, it can fall over. That's what it says in verse 47. In verse 49. It said, against which the stream did beat firmly, and immediately it fell and ruined the house, which was great. So all of that hard work, all of that effort that went into the second man in building his home was ruined because he didn't start with a solid foundation. He didn't start on a rock. He built it somewhere where it was not solid. So what does this have to do with our finances? We do the same thing. We start off, we get a little bit, and we don't invest. We don't take that and make a solid foundation. We don't invest in it. What are we spending our money on? Praise the Lord, Sister Carolyn. We don't take our money and invest it in things that we should, or save it, and we don't budget, and we blow it, and we get into this habit of continuous to do this. So now we're in a point in our life where the stream keeps coming and knocking our foundations down. So we want to change that and build our foundation on a solid rock, on a solid foundation. So I was talking to a friend earlier, trying to figure out what I wanted to talk to about tonight. And one of the things that I'm very interested in is investing in stocks and bonds and how we do that. So I got a little information here tonight. I would like to share with you on how to start with that foundation. And a lot of times we trick ourselves and think, we need hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars to be able to invest, but that's not the case. You can build small and then watch it grow, as long as you know how to invest and you learn and you keep educating yourself the same way that Jesus told this parable. You got to build it on the foundation. Once that house was there and it was solid, right? But what's going to happen over time? What can happen over years, right? Things might start to settle. You may have to repaint. A screw might come loose. The pipe might get plugged. So you got to revisit it, and you want to revenerate. I can't say the word. I have to do some of those things. So it's the same thing with your finances. Continue to take a look at it and see where you are investing where you're spending your money. Is it working for you? What's working and what's not working? Revisit those budgets and things that we have talked about. All right. So I want to talk tonight about investing, and give you a little bit of information that I found about for beginners, which myself is too as a beginner. And I say I continue to test. I do want to go back to school and learn more about. Thank you, restore is a bit. I can say restore, renovate. I don't know why it doesn't roll off my lips correctly. But I want to go back to school to learn how to do the stocks and things like that. I did do a segment not too long ago about CDs. Look for look for the bank to take your money, and you're investing after a certain amount of time that you leave it there, it's gained interest. So this is what we want to do. We want to invest the same way you invest in yourself spiritually. You can do it financially. You can do it. Sister Aretha in her class, we can do it for our bodies and become healthier. All of these avenues, they all work together. All right. So what is investing? Investing is the process of allocating money into assets such as stocks, bonds, or real estate with the expectations of generating income or profit over time. Right? You can't just expect it to immediately happen. And that's what a lot of people do. They get discouraged when they invest, or, the stock market goes up and down. We're in a point in right now, we don't know what's going on with the economy, if it's going to go up and down. And I believe last week I talked about don't panic and don't go in and take your 401ks out and pull it all out because you're thinking that you're going to lose a lot of money, because it's going to fluctuate. That's one thing that the stock market does. It always goes up and down depending on the economy, supply and demand. It depends on what happens in the government. Okay. For those of us who are just beginning to invest in a journey, you got to understand the fundamentals. It's crucial. Investing for beginners often start with opening a broker account for beginners, which allows you to trade various assets. And that's all it is. It's investing in a company and it's trading. These accounts can be opened with banks, robo-advisors, or online brokers. And they usually require they don't usually require a large initial deposit, making them more accessible for beginners. Okay. Again, like I said, you don't need $5,000, $10,000, $20,000. You start with a little bit. When we think about when you started off with your job and you started off with your 401k, and maybe at the time you weren't financially stable, you can only put 2%, which might have been only $20 a paycheck, right? But that $20 was being invested in different accounts, right? Because that's what the 401ks do. It plays, your money goes into the stock market. So you're opening up these small accounts, or you opening up these accounts with a small amount. So don't be afraid to look into investing your money, and you don't have a lot. It starts with small. Starting with a basic understanding of what investment entitles can set you up on the right path. The goal is to grow your wealth, right? This is what this class is about. It's about being more money minded, to grow our wealth over time, so we don't have to live check to check. But it's important to be aware of the risk that are involved. All right. Investments can fluctuate in value, like I said already, and the potential of loss does exist. It can happen. You will lose money. Right now, a lot of our 401ks are going down because of the things that are going on in the government. But that's why we can't panic. Okay. So the right approach and a solid foundation of knowledge can help you to navigate and to grow in your investment. Okay. So it says here, choosing the best broker account for beginners. When you're new to investing, selecting the right brokerage account is a crucial step. The best brokerage account for beginners are those that offer intuitive platforms, comprehensive educational resources, and low fees. All right. These accounts serve as an entry point into the world of investing, enabling you to buy and to sell stock and bonds and other securities. Look for brokers that provide robust customer support, as they can individualize when you're just starting out. So basically what this is saying is look for a broker that's willing to help you out and to teach you and invest. There are so many online classes and online resources that you can go to that can teach you about, and myself, about investing and best time to buy, when's the best time to sell, what to look for when you're investing that money. Okay. One thing I want to say as I'm getting into this, and the reason I haven't really dug into it, because it takes time. You want to do your research, and you want to make sure that you understand and know what you're doing. And, at our level, we're beginners at investing and buying stocks and bonds. You want to be very fluent about what you're doing. You want to check it. You want to go back. You want to research, because the ultimate goal is your return on an investment. You don't want to invest $5,000 and lose it all, right? You want to invest where you can trade and see what markets or what companies are going up, what companies are going down. We all just not too long ago, we're all familiar with Big Lots and Party City. And of course, they have closed. We know what happened with COVID. When COVID hit, a lot of stocks went down. A lot of brick and mortar stores have closed, right? And a lot of things have opening, and they didn't close totally, but a lot of them have gone to online because people weren't going out to the malls. We slowly seeing some come back, and we're still, unfortunately, see some closing up. And a lot of the brick and mortars are closing because there is so much online shopping now. Okay. With the tariffs now, things again might change. So we really don't know. So you really want to have that time to be able to look at your investment. Look at, see if you can find the brokers that will help you. There's a lot of brokers out there that are at the beginning stages of their career too, and they're willing to take on you as a risk to help you to grow their money, because they charge fees, right? And that's why I said to look for those who don't have who charges you a low fee, where I just read a low security fees, because you don't want to get into it and then you wind up owing them money. A lot of people get into stocks and they don't know what they're doing, and they try to go for these heavy hitter and these brokers, and the brokers are ripping them off, or some of them is mafia and gangsters or whatever. And these things are true in investments, and they'll come and want to take your business or whatever the case might be. So you want, again, don't just jump into it, because we're having a little class on it tonight, but to do your research and look for it and make sure it's reputable. All right. Because you can find anything online. All right. It says online brokers in particular are popular among beginners due to the convenience and low cost compared to traditional brokers. They allow you to manage your investments directly through user-friendly platforms, often available through your mobile app, which can be considered the best stock trading app for beginners. Okay. Sounds great. Want to look into it. Make sure it's reputable. Do your research. Check out the brokers. Make sure they're reputable before you start to invest. Okay. And I agree with that. That is true, because we do everything now on our cell phones. You don't have to wait till I get home and get on my laptop. Your laptop's in your hand. So as you're investing, or if you needed to trade, if you needed to see what the stock market is doing, it's right in the palm of your hand, and you can do it right then and there. Okay. It says these apps are designed to make investment accessible and understanding, even for those who with no prior experience. So it comes to make it easier for you. All right. So the first thing to do is you want to choose the correct broker, but make sure it's reputable. Then it says stock trading for beginners. Stock traders for beginners involve buying and selling shares of publicly traded companies. Okay. When you purchase stock, you become a part owner of that company, which means you can benefit from it when it grows. However, stock prices can be vastly influenced by factors such as market trades, company performance, economic conditions. These volatilities can make stock trades both exciting and challenging. So I'll give you an example. We used to have different department stores. Y'all remember Sears and Kmart, Nichols, to name a few that were here up north, right? And they were really big. And then all of a sudden, this big box store called Walmart came out, and they started these thing called rollbacks, and they became the competitors. So what happened to all of these other stores? All of these other stores folded. They went out under, and that's where the challenge comes in. We see it with Apple and Samsung. We see it with Coke and Pepsi. A lot of other soda industries and companies have been there. I was just on the Today Show. I don't know if you ever heard of Poppy soda. It's supposed to be a lower calorie soda with the fizz and whatnot, but it's got prebiotics with it, and it's become very popular, and it's supposed to have some health, quote unquote, health things in it. And they're becoming big. Well, Pepsi is buying them out to compete with the probiotic drinks that Coca-Cola has. So they're buying that, somebody started this Poppy company, and then they went and sold it. And I believe it was over $2 or $3 million or something like that, huge number that Pepsi has partnered with them with. And now their partner and owner in it, and that person who owned that started that Poppy, is now benefiting from them too. And it becomes a trade. And that's what it means when you start trading. So these factors are good, but they can be challenging as well. I can use my own company for an example. Carol's Corporation. You've seen it in the stores, yes, and it's pretty expensive. It's not like buying a regular soda. Everything has gone up, so I can't even compare apples to apples. I don't buy soda, but I have walked by or noticed or seen an ad of the prices of a 6-pack. It's pretty expensive. But anywho, I can use my company as an example. Carol's has been around, and we started off very small, and now it became a huge company, and we owned over 1,000 Burger Kings, right? And then COVID hit, and we weren't able to keep up with some of the things that were in the agreement, and so we wound up partnering, and we got partnering. We're still Carol's, and we were bought out by RBI, so we're kind of partnering with them, and when you became a restaurant manager, when I became a restaurant manager when Carol's was in play, they automatically we became a public company because it came big, and they gave us stock in the company. So I own shares of Carol's, right? So it's I don't even know what it's worth, to be honest with you. It's X amount of dollars or whatnot, and I can trade those shares, or I can buy out those shares and invest in a different company. It's the same thing with the Apple. I think I said Apple and Samsung. This is why they come out with a new iPhone or a new Android phone, because they're trying to keep up in competition with these things. And that is happening because we're investing, stockers, people who buy stock in it. They buy stock in Walmart. Walmart might be $100 a share, and you're thinking, my goodness, what's one share? Well, when a huge company like that, one share over time can bring you a huge return on investment. Unless something really huge comes, I don't see Walmart going under anytime soon. Okay, so all of these things happen, but you got to learn how to manage it. So it could be fun. It can be exciting for beginners. You look for those type of companies. When you go in, I have looked at them. I have done it even with my 401ks. I mean, there are zillions and zillions and zillions of companies out there that you can invest in that are public companies, and they trade. And that's why, the stock market on Wall Street in New York City, the fluctuate goes up and down, up and down. This is where it happens. So the younger you are, the more I would say the better off you are to be able to invest in these things, because you have time on your hands, because statistically saying people are living longer. So you would get a longer term of investment. So, the stock market's going down. Don't panic. If you're putting it in your 401k, you're putting 10% in there, and out of that 10%, you are investing 9 of it, and you're 19 or 20, I wouldn't get shaky. But if you're my age, high 50s, going headed towards 60s and headed towards a retirement. You don't want to add, if you're putting 10% of your pay in there, you don't want to invest 9. You may want to do 7% in guaranteed, what they call it, guaranteed savings. So that money that you're putting in every week is getting that interest, and it's earning that interest on you, and only 3% of your investment. And if your company matches your investment, is getting played in the stock market. Okay, because you're at your age makes a difference. As a beginner, it's important to start with a clear strategy. Many novice investors begin with well-known companies that have a track record of being stable. Like I just talked about, the Samsung, the Apple, the Walmarts, okay? Alternatively, you might explore index funds or exchange trade funds, which often explores to a broad range of stocks in one purchase. These options can provide a more diverse investment with relatively low risk compared to individual stocks. Something I didn't know, so I just learned something new. So alternatively, you can look for what's called an Explore Index fund or an exchange trade fund, and they will allow you more, right? You might gain more at a lower risk. To manage your investment effectively, consider using the best broker trade app for beginners. These apps are designed to simplify the trading process, offering features with real-life market data, alerts, and educational tools. By using these resources, you can make more informed decisions and better manage your investment. So that's a good way to start with stocks. And again, this is encouraging you to do it with an app, finding these brokers online. I just want to express again to make sure that they are reputable. All right. Best trading platform for beginners. It says, if you're searching for the best trading platform for beginners, you'll want to focus on features that make trading accessible and educational. The ideal platform should have a user-friendly interface, provide accessible to a wide range of investment opportunities, and offer resources that can help you understand the market. Look for platforms that include demo accounts or stimulation features, allowing you to practice trading without risking real money. So there, oh, I like that. That's pretty cool. So it's called best trading platforms for beginners. So you want to look for some of those, and that way you can play around with it instead of it's like a stimulator. It's like a video game, playing that around with it, so you can learn how the stocks and bonds and the stock market works before you actually get into investing your money. So that's a platform that you can look for as well. Some of the best platforms also educational content such as tutorials, webinars, and articles tailored to trading for beginners. These contents can help you build your knowledge based inevitably you to make more informative decisions. Additionally, consider platforms that allow low fees and no minimum account balance, which can particularly benefit you just when you're starting off. So again, that's great information to know, to look for those kind of trading platforms. So we know we can look for these brokers online, right? Look for some that have some tutorials and education. They are low. Make sure they're reputable and they're honest. And you want to, you that has an app that you can maybe do some interfacing with, and that you'll be able to try it out before you actually start to invest. Okay. Then it says type of investments for beginners. There's stocks, which are purchasing stocks, meaning buying a share in a company. I talked about that a little bit. Bonds are essentially loans you give to a company or government. They pay interest over time and are generally considered low risk compared to stocks. Okay. The exchange trade funds, which I just mentioned, are collections of stock and bonds that trade on an exchange like a stock. They often diversify in a single investment, making them popular choice for beginners. So it's ETF, exchange traded funds. Then there's mutual funds. They're similar to the ETF, but mutual funds pool money from multiple investors to buy a diverse portfolio of assets. These funds are managed by professionals and can be a good option for those looking for a hands-off approach. So what that means is if you don't want to, you want to invest, but you don't want to do all the research, you don't want to do the homework, you don't want to get into how all stocks and bonds work, you might want to look for a mutual fund. Okay. Then it says real estate. Investing in real estate involves buying property with the exception that it will increase in value. While more complex than stock or bonds, real estate can be a great investment. This is something that I thought about doing, buying property and then renting it out or, for income, right? And let the renting out pay the mortgage, and then the rest of it can pay for, the upkeep of the house or the taxes or whatever the case might be. The other option with real estate is buying a home, flipping it, fixing it up. There's a lot of property. I watch a lot of HGTV, and there's a lot of people that do that. They buy homes and they fix them up and they put X amount of dollars in them, right? And then when they do that, then they turn around and sell it and they make a profit off of how much they bought it for compared to what they put into it to fix. So I like that one, and that's one that I'm really interested in doing. And then, of course, I've already had a segment about certificate of deposit, which is a CD. This is the low risk one. CDs are low risk investments offered by banks that pay a fixed interest rate over a specific term. They are a deal for beginners, me, looking for stable, low risk return. So again, you can go give them at $5,000, leave it in there, forget about it, don't need it for X amount of time, and they give you a guarantee amount on an interest rate, right? And then after that time is over, you can go get that CD out, and then you got your money plus the extra money that they have given you for that CD. So those are types of investments that you can do for beginners. All right. So I just wanted to come a little tonight with a little information on stocks and bonds and investing, because once we're on this saving journey, and once we save this money, what are we going to do with it? You don't want to just put it in a savings account, like I mentioned before, that has no interest. You want to invest it so you can continue to have it grow, and you definitely just don't want to blow it. But that might be a goal that you have. I'm going to save this for a trip, for a vacation. That's fine too. That's all great and wonderful too. But try to take that little bit and try to invest it, something out of what you saved and invest it. All right. But we want to build it on a solid foundation. I hope this was informative on tonight, and you got something out of it. And yeah, Lord's will, I won't be with you next Friday night, but I will be back with you in 2 weeks. Lord will, y'all take care, be blessed, keep me in prayer. I'm going on vacation, and Lord's willing, I will see you all when I return. God bless and have a great evening.